Hello, it's Adil bringing you analysis of the Euro USD. I'm just trying to sum this up, just trying to give you a intermarket analysis approach of how to trade the or basically how I'm trading the Euro going forward. So this is a weekly chart that you see before you. Okay, let's go over the fundamentals first because I like to get that out of the way, and then obviously I can try and take my slant technically as well. Okay, so fundamentals, basically you have taper, okay, tapering of between 5 to 10 billion, obviously reduced now to 75 billion a year, per month going forward, and obviously 10 billion consequently maybe every quarter, and obviously to wind it down totally. So going forward, that means that US dollar is bullish. Slice it and dice it whichever way you want. You can listen to all the noise out there. There's a lot of opinions out there, etc. But in reality, the US dollar explains everything. That's one thing about price action. You see, that's really good, is that it sort of sifts through the noise to a large extent and tells you exactly which direction this market's headed. So obviously we had a doji there, okay, quite with large wicks, so a lot of volatility, etc. And certainly looking bullish. So given the fact that you're going to be reducing tapering by 10 billion each time, then you have the unfilled gap up here, which I've stated for quite some time now is called a tapering gap. It's called a tapering gap for a reason, because it means that the US dollar is going to rise and obviously close that eventually as tapering is obviously enacted on the market. So you can see there 84.5 is the ultimate resistance, so I expect that to be hit going into next year. Okay, so keep an eye out for that, and keep an eye out for US dollar strength. Okay, that's the most important thing. Okay, going back to our Euro USD then. So let's go back to the Euro USD. Let's see if we can try and sum this up again. Okay, so weekly chart, obviously you know you've got confirmation of resistance. Okay, now add the fact that obviously you've got inconsistency in the Eurozone. Okay, France is suffering whilst Germany is obviously prospering. Okay, given the fact that the Euro is certainly keeps going higher. Given the fact that you've got tapering now, that obviously puts a dent in the market, okay, and does not allow the Euro USD to appreciate, unless obviously the Chinese come in and keep buying the Euro. That's a totally different ball game altogether, okay. But given the fact that the Euro is now into trendline resistance on the weekly chart, has certainly confirmed resistance up here at double top, and it's all about a double top, folks. Okay, literally it's all about a double top. So double top has been confirmed. Okay, and certainly remains the key obstacle for any further moves higher on the euro. Okay, so expect that 1.38 level to hold in the interim, and looking for potential downside. Okay. Now going to a 4-hour chart, as you can see here, you've got a potential bear flag scenario. So lower lows, lower highs, and ultimate target will probably be around the 1.358 level. If not, obviously previous resistance equals support around here, which is around the 1.362 level. Okay, going to your 60-minute chart, as you can see at present, is you do have a bear flag scenario. Okay, so bear that in mind. Just bear that in mind. Obviously, keep aware of that, and where previous support equals resistance. So there are two levels that you're going to come and score. If you do obviously appreciate higher here, 1.3710, 1.3725. Okay, so they're levels to watch out for if the market does appreciate. Obviously, if the Chinese step in, start pushing the euro higher again, then certainly keep an eye out for that level. Okay, this is just a bear flag right now on the 60-minute chart. You're just consolidating, and then obviously next move lower. Let's go to our 10-minute chart. Okay, so what are the 10-minute chart? Obviously you've got the potential there for a little mini IHS formation, so keep an eye out for that. Somebody just asked me on Twitter just then regarding this pattern, and yeah, it looks good, can't really complain. Okay, so yes, and there we go. So thrust higher, if you do get thrust higher, 1.372, watch out for that level. And let's have a look. Previous support equals resistance up here and up here, so again watch out for the 200 MA 1.3720 region. Okay, that's certainly an area to watch and keep an eye out for. Okay, so yes, at present overall larger time frames very bearish, so ideally as a trader you'd like to be with the larger time frames.
If you want to take an intraday trade, obviously against the larger time frames, it is a risky trade. Ideally, you'd like to all the time frames aligned in one direction, and then obviously you'd like to take a trade. So always bear that in mind. Okay, so we'll allow the larger time frames to take precedence. Now, we have got US data here at 1:30, so that's going to be a wild card. Okay. You've got US jobless claims, obviously that's going to be quite volatile, and you've got existing home sales at 3 p.m. So bear that in mind. But basically, what's my verdict? My verdict is the euro, from a long-term perspective, certainly looking very bearish. From a medium-term perspective, at present, it looks bearish. From a short-term perspective, potential bounce. Any bounce will be capped at 1.3720. Okay, then. So, but basically, it's the tapering that obviously dominates. And given the fact that the US dollar has an inverted head and shoulders pattern, that's going to close the gap at 84.5. Okay then, so risk on, risk off, wax on, wax off. Goodbye now.